Facebook, we're gonna be live in a minute. We're gonna be live in a minute. Facebook, we're gonna be live in a minute. Getting ready. Special broadcast. Live in a minute. Facebook, what's going on? What's going on, Facebook? Man. We are a special night. Usually we're on Wednesdays at 7:30, but we broadcasting tonight, man. I was out of town. I was actually on vacation, and I'm just getting back. And we wanted to go ahead and stick to this subject and commit to this subject, dealing with married couples and their single friends, man. Married couples and their single friends. And we're gonna get live with that. I'm send Black. Send him his link. I sent it, but I sent it again. So we're gonna deal with that. I'm not married, so I don't know. The dynamic of married couples having single friends. So, Jay, what were you married at one point?
Yeah, I was married at a couple points.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I can shed a little bit on that.
Yeah, man, please do. Having a wife and her having friends, and were all her friends married or were they single?
No, she had a mixture. So there were a few that were married. I think 3 were married and 2 were unmarried that she normally kicks it with, or she just kick it with. And man, I mean, I really didn't have a problem with it. Because at the end of the day, you still are an individual, and you can't separate yourself from your individuality as having friends.
Right.
So, as long as you respect the house, your marriage, your relationship, then it's not an issue.
Right. So you never really had an issue with her having friends. Have y'all had any, when you had the rough patches, were her friends any influence in those rough patches with the single friends, or the single friends? Did they get back to you on their advice, trying to give married people advice?
Well, the single friends actually stayed pretty much in their place as single friends and supported her just as her friends.
Right.
But her married friends, they did advise based on their experience in their marriage.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I gotta know from experience on, all I can do is live vicariously through y'all experiences, because I've never been married, so I don't know. Black, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
Man, I'm good. Hey, we're on the subject with the married couples and their single friends. And I asked Jay, did what type of influence did her friends, what type of influence did his wife friends have on her, as far as dealing in their relationships and ups and downs? So I want to ask you the same question. Do you, dealing with your family, do she have all single friends, or are some of them married?
Most of them single.
Okay. Have they? Do you see any type of level, any influence, or I know sometimes we can try to give advice, but I believe single people can really, could you really give, outside looking in, give advice to a situation that you don't really have the full scope on? So have you had any issues
In
with the single
mine,
friend? Yeah.
no issues.
Okay.
But I've seen issues. I know
Right.
issues that can develop
Okay.
with
Could you,
hanging with single people.
what you think it happened?
A lot can happen. Depends on who the friend is.
Right.
Whether they respect your marriage, whether they respect your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people come to me with that. And what about it goes deeper than that. What about the hardworking man, hardworking woman that comes home to a house full of the significant other friends? Whether
Right.
they watch TV, whether they watch sports, playing video games. I can't even come home and relax without looking at people in the house.
Right. How do you navigate that, though? Either one of y'all, how do you navigate her not being
gotta lay some
oppressive?
ground rules.
Okay.
You gotta lay some rules.
Yeah.
I mean,
so again, it goes back to how well you respect your spouse or your significant other. My ex, her friends, she started hanging with her two single friends more than she was hanging with her married friends. But they would hang out at the house. So, and I didn't have an issue with it. I mean, it gave her time with her friends. It gave me my time to chill by myself for a minute. And then at the end of the day, we came back together. But we never had any conflict as related to her hanging with her friends at the house. Hey, I'm cooking, so I'm gonna have to jump up every now and then.
Gotcha.
Before the new one
Copy
gets in.
that. Copy that. Copy that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just depends on who the friends are,
Right.
how frequently they hanging out, if the friends respect the relationship. It's so many areas that can go. And notice he
Right,
said at the
right.
house. Now, if that person jumping up every weekend trying to hang out with the single friend at their house with their company, you know, that's a different issue altogether.
Yeah, because it you know, having the issue where you know your spouse going to a single friends could house more frequently, could that represent a problem in your marriage by them doing that?
You say, can it?
Yeah, can it? Does it have the potential to cause a problem if you know your a married friend is going to a single friend's house all the time?
The word, the phrase "all the time" is where
Yeah.
the problem come in at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's where the problem come in at. When you say it
Right.
all the time, if you would have just said every now and then, but all the
We talking
time,
about every weekend. We talking about every weekend. We talking about every time you look up, she ready to go to her friend's house.
oh yeah,
You know, okay, she'll take care of the business with you. She, you know, do the wifely duties at the house, but she ready to go to a friend's house. You know, all the time, and
yeah, that's
it's
out.
more than frequent. You know, so have you had know anybody with that type of issue?
I know
And
tons of
if
people
so,
with that issue.
how did it turn out?
I've seen them go through divorce with that issue.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not a good issue.
Right. Having that issue can cause severe problems. What do you think in one instance that can cause that? Is it their friends trying to influence them, or is you think the wife going to the friends to tell the business of the house? What do you think it could be potentially that you known of the root cause of why the problem exists, and the most common thing that you've seen?
I mean, I've been in situations where I would be hanging with people, with different guys, and I would be in a relationship, and I hang with a few friends of mine, and before I got in a relationship, we used to run the street, you know, chase women, do what guys do, and if I get locked in and I say I'm finna chill, some of them get an attitude like, oh, you house trained, you this, you that. And then soon as I show my ass and be getting out my relationship, they'll be found somebody and now they in the house. Watch TV, don't want to go out tonight, but they talk me out of mine, you know. So
right.
I've been in several situations.
So is it the same rules apply dealing with single couples? Because if you're not married, you know, two categories: you're either single or you're married. Even though you're living with someone and you're not married to them, you're still single. So do the same dynamic? Is it the same dynamic? Even if you're unmarried, but y'all live together, y'all in a relationship. So do the same thing exist that you've seen?
If it's a serious relationship,
you follow what I'm saying?
If it's a serious relationship,
okay,
yeah.
If it's a serious relationship,
if they serious, even though both of them are much right people because they haven't said I do, but if they're living together, doing everything that a married couple will do, they're a couple. And although they're not married, they give each other a little bit more leniency because they not married. And a lot of times the woman will take on, I'm finna hang with my friends, this and that and that and that, because they're not married, because she feel like I can do what I want to do. And women get in that mode a lot of times when they hear people say, oh, y'all been together this long and he ain't married you yet and da da da. She stores that. And then and that's what she try to do, what she know he don't like. Right. So she can say, ain't no ring on my finger. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me what to do, you know. So they can use that as a game.
But, I mean, could he really tell her what to do if he's not married to her?
Yes. Yes. Because if you're in a household together, and you're playing married, then you still play by married rules. If you shacking, you still play by married rules, because you still are supposed to be in a committed relationship. So you should have some say so in that relationship and how it's handled. So I'm going back to when you were saying, want to hang out with your girl. I'm using female because that's what I was married to, and that's what I like. So when she wanted to hang out with her female friends, single female friends at their house or wherever, then in most cases, I was the one to drop her off. Mm-hmm. Because she did drink, and number one, I didn't want anything to happen to her after her being out drinking. And I didn't want her to have to drive home if it's late. So I would drop her off, and then I would go back and pick her up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning whenever she's ready. Mm-hmm. I didn't have an issue with that because we had an understanding.
Okay. Right. So you feel that a man still has rights over a woman, though he's not married to her, if they stand together.
They have rights over each other.
Yeah, over each other.
It's the rights of the household. You playing house, but then you want to play by single rules. Now, if you live,
but you are single if you're not married.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. You want to play by single rules,
right?
But meaning that you're not in a relationship, a committed relationship.
Okay.
So, but you're in a house, although you all are single by title, but you're in a committed relationship. So you're together by what you're committed on and to.
Okay. So though you're unmarried, the qualifiers y'all stand together. Splitting bills is what qualify on the say so. To whereas you can have this you have some say so in this dynamic of her on who she hang with, because y'all stay together, and though y'all not married, y'all stay together and y'all split bills, or you paying bills. So that's the qualifier for you having some say so, though y'all not married.
No, the qualifier
or is it understood?
The qualifier is you're in a committed relationship.
Okay.
So whatever happens in that relationship, it affects both of you all.
Right.
So yes, you have some say so. When I wasn't married to my ex-wife, we lived together. And she asked me not to. Well, she told me that she didn't want me hanging with this one particular friend.
Okay.
And because we stayed together and we shared everything, we shared our space, then I could only do what she said or what she requested.
Right.
And that's respect of the relationship. You chose to play this role in this relationship, so that's what you have to do, and you respect whatever the other person says.
Right. Okay. So You got respect for one another. You've been together 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years. You're still not married, but you decide, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be in a committed relationship. One of you die. And do you feel that it's worth not getting married and just being in a relationship? And still just remaining in that relationship?
I've come to the thinking
because I meant it in add on, not to cut you off, but to be with somebody for that long and get nothing in return, that's a waste, because this person is not married to you. So
but is it a waste? What it is, it's whatever works for those individuals that's in that relationship. Now, that person could have had a will set up or could have had insurance set up where that person is the beneficiary.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get anything, but whatever works for you works for you. There was a couple that was married, that was living together for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That worked for them. Never got married. Never stepped out on each other. Lived happily until one of them died.
Right.
But that worked for them.
How was the end of it? The end result of it? Because what I'm doing, I'm building up something to deal with that dynamic of other people in the relationship.
I understand. So
adding their 2 cents into your relationship, don't know what's going on,
right?
Because I had to learn that to each his own,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that everything don't work for everybody the same way. So right. I had to learn that. So that keep you from a lot of frustration that you get out of judging people, because these two people good with each other 30, 40 years. And right. Then all of a sudden they get married and then they break up within 6 months.
Right.
But I just see that is to each his own.
Right.
But how have you seen that done? Either one of you, have you seen that done on committed relationships or married couples where you watching this in real time, had their friends influencing the relationship and cause the relationship either had to have strife or dissolves? Have you seen that? And if you have, let's get an example of that. You kind of build a story around that to give to the audience, either Black or Jay.
Well, a lot of single friends and even some married friends can influence the ones that's in the relationship.
Yeah.
Whether it's y'all going to Miami for a honeymoon, they going to Jamaica.
Right.
And that may make your spouse say, your girlfriend say, we should have went to Jamaica, or right. Vice versa. The man right. want to go to Jamaica, the woman rather go to Miami because she never been. He want to take her somewhere extravagant. The other friend girls say, well, we enjoyed ourselves in Miami. She didn't really enjoy herself in Jamaica. So now she's saying we should have came to, we should have went to Miami. Mm-hmm. So they can easily influence each other. I've seen cases where that happened. The influence, it's like, it's never enough. Right. You just gotta, like I say, maturity mm-hmm. plays a large part. You have to have someone that's mature. You gotta have your own mind.
Yeah.
And the one you're with definitely has to be into you, because people out here that'll portray to be your friend or your BFF could really be slick hating and trying to mess up what you got going on at the same time.
Right.
So you gotta watch a lot. And then as far as hanging with the friends, you have to kind of know your place in a relationship.
Right.
Like back in the day, our parents and grandparents, they had such thing called doghouse.
Right.
So if dad's friend Woodrow throwing a party at his house and dad came in late or got caught in some type of situation where mom's wasn't satisfied or wasn't pleased with his actions, it was a such thing called doghouse back then.
Right.
And so even though his partner Woodrow have a party going on, he wouldn't attend the party because he was in the doghouse.
Right.
You know, and that's just to show respect to the wife, you know, to mom.
Right.
So
right.
These days it's not, you know, everybody macho, everybody hard. It's no doghouse. It's like you do you and I'm gonna do me when they get mad. But when you respect your significant other, even though this is the house party of the year, he in the doghouse. So if he stopped by, he just gonna stop by.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna stop by. Hey, I just wanted to come by and say, "Ooh, you got it going on in there, but man, I gotta head out." And he going back. He coming back home.
Right.
You know, so it just depends on your relationship and what state you are in that relationship.
Right.
Me personally, I'm a what's good for the goose, good for the gander type person. So if you want to go out and hang with your friends, you know, I'll go out and hang with mine. You want to go this place, I'll fly that place. You know, it's like as long as I got my strength and health. But the key thing is to keep everything in respect. But if it's not good to hang with friends or family that's not into your mate. I never, you know, especially if they're single. And all of us, the male side and the female, have friends that's loose, wild.
Right.
And a lot of times you don't particularly want your mate hanging with that type of person, especially if y'all have been through ups and downs in that relationship and y'all hadn't healed from all of the ups and downs, all of the downs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a shaky situation.
What potentially can happen with the loose friends on you struggling in your relationship with the ups and downs? So why would you say that? And how do you as an individual know if something is wrong? Is it in your soul, or do you see? Could you pick it up? What do you
real
see?
Man or couple that's in a relationship can feel when something's not right in the relationship. A lot of times they ignore it, but just like women have intuition, men do too. We just tend to ignore ours more than them. They react on theirs. We, you know, brush it off, whatever.
Right.
So you can tell, and you should know. Everybody, I think everybody who's been in a relationship that really feel that person knows when something's not right in the relationship.
Right. Yeah,
I really feel that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people, just as single, people see the red flags but want to ignore them. Because when you in a phase of somebody that you really like and you see the red flags, you really don't want to mess the relationship up. And you feel by saying something, that person can leave you or run away from you, but it can actually cause more damage by ignoring the red flags. And I
Right.
think a lot of times we see that, but we don't want to acknowledge it.
And that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
From experience, I address whatever I don't like.
Right.
And like I say, I'll tolerate it for a minute. But when I get tired, I know when enough is enough. But you need to address what you don't like and let that person know that you don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think people have a problem with that though, Black? Why do you think people have a problem with addressing what they don't like in a relationship with people? Why do you think that, man?
I don't know, because in every relationship I had, I tell them what I don't like. And a lot of times I run them off, but I don't care, because what's not for me is not for me. I just know what I'm gonna take and what I'm not gonna take.
Right.
You know, I tell them what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
But
you know, that's to take it or leave it with me.
Yeah, that's
because you can't miss what you never had. And if I'm just meeting you, I'm gonna let you know what I like and what I don't like. And if you say, "Well, you too strict, too structured for me," I understand it. That's why I tell a lot when I was dating, my phrase would be, "I'm a good friend, but I'm a terrible boyfriend." You know, I ain't the best boyfriend because I come with rules, do's and don'ts. You know, that's just me. So the things they did to the last person, I may not 8 times out of 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to take it. The rah-rah, the talking back, the I'm grown, I do what I want, the disrespect, the talking, trying to out-talk and all that in front of people. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I see how you are. You can go ahead, you know, move around.
Right. Jay, what you were saying? What you were saying, Jay? I'm sorry, Black. Go ahead, finish your point.
Here's your question.
So I'm gonna go back to another point that you were saying about the loose friends. So where that can create a problem is if your spouse or committed relationship person is going out with this friend that's loose, male or female, then they're being approached by these other males or females, right? So, and this person may have a friend. Girl, can you go ahead and talk to him while I talk to this dude right here? Just keep him comfortable.
Use him as a ring woman, ring man.
Right. Yeah. So that's how that can become an issue, especially if that friend doesn't respect your marriage or committed relationship, and you as the person that's in the relationship doesn't respect your marriage or relationship. So that's where an issue can come in at.
Right. Hey,
he hit the nail on the head. That's really what I was saying, but I was dragging it out, and he just came in and he was like, forget him jumping around the bush. This is where the problem comes. He went straight to the source. But that's basically what I was saying. Like he said, the different guys that she's been with, the friend been with, that she's gonna attract or meet there who has friends. And the trust is there. But like I said, if you've been with somebody for a while, y'all done had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of downs that hadn't healed or was satisfied by we're going to agree to disagree. And so when you get so many agrees to disagrees and y'all going through arguing a little bit more than what you're used to, and she out with that loose friend, not saying that the wife or the girlfriend could cheat or be interested in the guy or whatever, but it's just the fact that they're in that environment. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're at the zoo, you're around the lions, but they're in a cage. So the chances of that lion biting you is slim to none, but you remove the cage or you get in that cage, you putting yourself in a better chance of getting bitten than you would if you was outside the cage. You know, that's just a situation that the significant other shouldn't even want to put themselves in. If I know we done had ups and downs and I got a partner that's a ladies' man and he wild and my wife or girlfriend or whatever know it, I probably, I probably wouldn't go out, with him, especially if we didn't had arguments. It's been a rough month or two for us. I'll probably pass on that if I respect my relationship. But if I don't, I'm gonna get dragged. I'm stepping out. I'll let you when I'm on my way home. I'll let you when I get there.
Right.
But
because you're open to
that.
Yeah, you're open to a lot of you're open to other people when you step out with that loose friend, and you're open to talking to other people. Sometimes, do you think sometimes people unintentionally get caught up just dealing? Okay, I'm in a relationship. Boom, go out with a friend of mine. Though me and my lady, we having issues. My intention is not to go look for somebody else, but you go out, man, you see somebody, she a breath of fresh air, and you talk, boom, 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 and then you see her again, boom, 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 and all of a sudden you in this situation that you really didn't have the intention of being in. Have that happen to either one of y'all? That you didn't intend, this came out of the left. How did it, and if so, how did y'all handle that?
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be going out. It can be right there at work when people are in the work.
Yeah, going out represent just overall life and just dealing in life, period.
Right.
Let me be that clear. Yeah.
But it can happen at work. It can happen at the grocery store. You walking in Walmart, wherever you shop, Kroger or wherever, and you run into this person, this lady, and you be like, well, and you just say something, just flirt. She respond, then you walk away. But then next week or a couple of weeks later, we meet again. Girl, this must be fate. You know what I'm saying? So hey, what you got going on?
Right.
And then you spark up that conversation. Then you put her name, in your phone under Taco Bell or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then y'all start communicating.
But Jay, what would cause you to do that if you're in a relationship? Why would it cause you to do that if you're in a relationship with this woman and you just entertained another woman, but you're in a relationship with another woman? What's at the root of why did you do what you just did?
Yeah, what's the motivation? What was the
motivation? Why did you do what you just did?
That was a hypothetical scenario, but but at the root of it is
this speaking, Jay represents people that's in that situation, not just you. It just representing speak in that situation. Because it happens. In the scripture, it talks about how it gives you instructions on how a married people should handle themselves in front of single people. It shows the woman on how a married woman should interact with around a single man. Not to give him too much attention, not to do too much smiling, not to hang around him so much, because it's not necessarily that she's loose, but it's two natures that's going on. It's attraction that's going there. You may catch a vibe, and you can remember that person because, like you said, life happens. You build up, life happens, and you going through a dark period, but you remember that person that you met at church. So from what place, that example that you just gave me, why you think a person would even entertain that, knowing that they have somebody?
Because the house, you're not clicking at the house,
right?
You just got in the situation at the house. You're not really totally happy with the person that you with, but you've been with them, so you still trying to make it work. They are 65% of what you really want.
But why would you choose 65% off the jump, or did that 65% go down over a period of time? And this what I'm asking the question, this for either one of y'all to jump in, just to chime in. Did the 65% go down, or did you meet her at 65%? And if so, why would you choose a person at 65%?
normally you choose a person at 100%.
Right.
However, once you start interacting with them, the more you interact with them, their
Right.
percentage starts to go down.
Right.
But you feel as if I just stick in here a little bit longer, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. But better never comes.
Right.
You have better moments, but the better never comes. So
Right.
then as you continue to have negative experiences with this particular person, then you start to
you start noticing other people.
yeah, you start
Right.
taking on someone else that may be more appealing to you, to your whether it's visual or whether it's their personality. You start to being more attracted to them than what you have at home. Then you start doing a comparison of what you have versus what you could have.
Right. And this happens all the time.
All the
Right.
time.
All the time. All the time.
He breaking
So-
he breaking it down tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying more than I thought he would say on here like this tonight.
So your thought on that, Black?
I mean, it's the same thing. It's like a breaking point. So the best thing to do is don't put yourself in that situation.
Mhm.
That's what that's what I do. That's why I say being in a relationship, a committed, serious relationship, isn't really that hard. Don't put yourself in those situations.
Mhm.
And like Jay said in previous podcasts, you're gonna always see something else that you like. There's always gonna be somebody else out there that's more that may be more attractive, may be more
Yeah.
appealing, may have more money, may have more of whatever you're with.
Right.
But that's where the real love, the true friendship, and the respect comes that makes you stay there. But if you're the only one fighting for that relationship, the only one you feel like you're the only one fighting for it, that's when it turns into the grocery store situation, like he said, the on-the-job situation, because you feel like better is never gonna come.
Right.
And
right.
that's
what
where
does fighting mean? What does fighting for a relationship? Because I hear people say that, not to cut you off, but you said something that was key. But what does, if nobody knows what fighting for a relationship is, what is fighting for a relationship in your experience?
Fighting for a relationship is when you see you guys are not happy, see you guys going from the 100% down to the 65%, and you try to catch it before it gets to the 50%.
Right.
So you say, hey, let's talk. Where we going wrong at? I really don't want to lose you. You're actually trying to stay and save the relationship, where they may be like, no, do you. You keep doing you. It is what it is. It's whatever. That person who's saying that is not fighting. So if you're the one saying, let's talk, and they saying, do you, no, you just do you. Keep on doing you. I'm going to do me, you do you.
Right.
And you're going to keep getting farther and farther apart. Somebody stop and say, hey, let's work on this and try to get it back together, but the other one still saying, do you. Because
So
she's comfortable doing her.
Do you think right then is just time to part ways? When do you give a, I'm coming to you to talk to you. Boom. I'm coming to you to talk to you. Boom. You do you. I'm trying to work on this. You do you. Do you give it a certain amount of time to say, I'm going to do this? And then the third time I ask her, if not, we parting ways. How would you go about that process? Do you go about that process on your own instinct? Or how would you go about that process? If I'm coming to you and I'm trying to make this work, but you saying do you. So how would you do that? Would you just do that immediately? Or would you kind of give it some time up the road to say, hey, it's time. I mean,
you try to, like I said, you try to work it out. And but just like my man related it to a job. But if you know you got enough pink slips and you basically finna get fired on that job anyway, who want to walk in a job every day knowing you're one pink slip away from the unemployment line?
Right.
one pink slip away from the unemployment line. So that means if you come in work late, 10 minutes late, one more time, it's a possibility you're gonna lose that job. So if you know that pink slip gonna stay on there for a year and all you need is one more, why not? I mean, to take that pressure off, it's easier to start putting in other applications,
Right.
you know, to see can you get another job? Because who wants that pressure?
I've learned that when the respect has disappeared from the relationship, it is extremely hard to bring that back together.
Right.
Once you all start acting like two individuals on the street, and when you start fighting like that, then it is hard to bring that back together.
Right.
So I never understood what fighting for a relationship was, because fighting to me means that there is still even though you're not getting along, fighting brings conflict. Means that you're fighting. What are you fighting against? So if you're fighting for a relationship, that means you're fighting against the other person. To me,
no. The word for.
Go ahead.
The word for takes out against. So if you're fighting, just like fighting for a cause, fighting for justice, you're fighting for something. So that's more of a togetherness. Now, if you fight against something, that's apart. I'm fighting against the abortion laws. You fight against that, but I'm fighting for pro-life.
So
when you're fighting for a relationship, that means instead of giving up, you're trying to save the relationship. So they use the word fighting as I'm really trying. So that's why it's fighting for instead of against.
Right.
Well,
so that's what fighting.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I understand how that is Webster's definition of fighting for. However, I'm saying for me personally, fighting for in a relationship doesn't work for me.
Oh, don't work for you. Okay.
Don't work for me personally.
Okay.
Because I feel like
it don't work. Let me ask you this. It don't work. So when you and a person just start falling out or drifting, you just let it drift. You don't say, hey, now let's come together and see what we gonna do. Because I'm tired of fighting every day. What you want to do? You don't say, okay, if she don't like you going out every Thursday night with your coworkers and she know Sheila and Sharon got crushes on you. She don't like that, but you go anyway. And that's what she don't like. So she's pulling apart from you because you're doing what she don't like. So when you notice that drift, you won't come to her and say, okay, like back in the day, they used to say you don't have the sparkles in your eye anymore. When you notice that her feelings towards you are slowly changing, you will just let it go. Because you'll be fighting for if you say, okay, baby, what's going on? I noticed you don't talk to me the way you used to. You don't be around me. You're hanging more at your mother's house. You're not here anymore. You don't act the same as you did when we first got together. That made me love you. So what's going on? You don't do that, or you just say, "Fluff it." You leave. You stay.
What I like to call it is creating a treaty. We're
creating a what?
A treaty. So we're coming together. We've had our fight. So now we're coming together to see how we can peacefully resolve whatever our conflict was.
Right.
Okay, now what if you do that and she's like, no, just keep doing you.
Yeah. Well, again, that's where you find that the respect is no longer there.
Yeah.
Again, in that treaty period, that's what you have to determine.
Right. I got Brandon got two comments on the fighting. You're fighting forces and thoughts outside of your relationship that is influencing your relationship that leads to being single. Then he said, you fight your ego. He said, you fight your ego, their ego, your and their ways that negate success for a relationship. Not fighting for it, if you believe it can work, shows you don't believe in yourself nor value your efforts that put into a relationship. You're wasting money, resources. Treaty is a term agreement to opposing forces. In marriage, the goal is to become one, not how to exist as two. Because treaty is an agreement of two opposing forces. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. But we still don't like each other, but we're going to put the rest here. This is going to be a treaty right here. We still oppose each other, but we ain't really coming as one, because you're in a relationship to become one, in a marriage to become one. But a treaty is one that exists as two. That's what he's saying. So how would you feel on that?
So when you're in that mindset, when you all are fighting against each other, then your mindsets aren't together. So you have to create a treaty in order to determine how you can become one nation.
Okay.
Just because you create a treaty and you're two at the moment, because that's what you are right then.
Right.
So the treaty can be that, okay, well, we are two separate nations right now, but let's create this treaty to see how we can work together and hopefully eventually become one nation, or be a part of I'm just using United Nations, how they join forces as one,
right,
to fight off anything outside of the United Nations, right?
But you're having a conflict within your army. So it's like you hear all the time, his songs called him too weak to fight. When he was out of a relationship, he had put all he could in the relationship. He too weak to fight. Like you said, you know what the term means. You call it treaty, but a lot of people, the word that we use is the only one that's trying to save the relationship, fighting for the relationship. Just like when you was about to go through divorce, you did all you could to save it. Layman's terms, regular eyes, he really fought hard to save that marriage. It just didn't work. So at some point, the first one who tries to save the relationship is the one that is considered the fighter that's fighting for the relationship. Now, I understand the treaty thing, y'all coming to an agreement, but when I'm the cause, and I know I'm the cause, I go to try to save it because I know what I've done. And sometimes it's too much, too little, too late. So when you go to them and you say, hey, let's call it truce, let's come together. So I guess that would be somewhat of a treaty. But if you're the only one that's saying let's come together and that person's not, that means you're the one who was fighting for the relationship and that person just didn't, or vice versa. And I've been on both sides of the fence on that battle. So I feel what you're saying with the treaty, but treaties is like, I guess when it's not that bad of a thing, let's come to an agreement. But if you know you're the cause, and then you go and you try to patch it up and that other person don't want to, and that's whether it's friendship or not. I hear people say, I'm not going to be the only one fighting to be in this friendship. Fighting for our friendship. Where the other one's saying F you and hanging with the ops, and you trying to be down with them. So, but I feel what you're saying. But the treaty and the fighting for is basically the same thing, but they just got slightly different definitions, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage. I feel what you're saying, though. I mean, you can use that word as well.
But you know, it takes more than love to keep a marriage together.
Right.
It takes more than love.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be friends. You have to be in love, not just love. You have to be in love. There's a difference.
Right.
You have
right.
You have to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect who you're with. Those are the things that will keep your marriage going, because every day I'm not going to be in love with you because of whatever may have happened, disagreement or whatever. But you being my best friend and me liking you keeps me committed to you, right, and keeps me respecting you.
Right. So let me ask this, because Brandon said we love people we don't want to be with. Do you think a lot of times people are in love with people they really don't want to be with?
I think they may love people that they don't want to be with.
Not in love.
But not in love with that person.
Right. 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 So do you think sometimes it can be a financial thing? It could be
what it is,
place to stay, or
what more than likely it is, you settled for this rather than going after what you really wanted. You settled for this and tried to make it work. So anything that comes to oppose your relationship, you're already not 100% in there, because it's not really what you wanted. It was somebody that you was going to try to make it work with.
Okay.
So anything that opposes that relationship comes as opposition against that relationship, it causes you to think, I'm done. I'm finished. I don't care anyway.
Right.
I must say, a lot of times,
go ahead, Black,
you get what you think you want. And once you get to know that person, sometimes you can get what you feel like you like, 80% of what you think you like. But once you get in that relationship and you learn who that person is, their personality, who they really are outside the physical form, sometimes that can alter, because a beautiful person with an ugly soul, is a turnoff.
Right.
A beautiful person with an ugly spirit, ugly vibe, is a turnoff. And once you start seeing so much of the ugly side, that's a turnoff to a lot of people. Right. And so now you're 2 years, 3 years into something, and you notice how that person's vibe, that beautiful person, how negative, how depressing, how sad, how their spirit, and that can alter your thoughts. So you picked who and what you wanted. You just found out later on that person wasn't all. Whether you don't like their work ethic, they work too much. They're not spending as much time now. They hang with certain friends. They got them over all the time. You like peace and quiet. It's just a whole lot of factors that can play in that 100% going to 65% with somebody who you chose, who you thought, who you went out to get. So whether you settled for this person or what, sometimes you can find who you think is the best person. But once you find out everything and get to knowing that person, you find out you still ended up with 65%.
Right. And I think a lot of times, Brandon said a treaty is an agreement. A treaty is an agreement to not exercise conflict. It does not say the relationship or fix it.
But it gives you the opportunity to talk and try to get to the point where you can fix it. It gets you to a point where you are sitting down for an understanding of what's going on.
Going
How
on.
do we resolve it?
So you and Black really saying the same thing. He's saying about saving a relationship. Y'all really got the same nuance of saying the same thing. You really trying to fight for the relationship and dig. I think a lot of times that we as individuals, as human beings, we really don't understand that, especially Black people in America. I think that we are chips off the same block. Each and every one of us got different situations going on, but each and every time we meet somebody, they're gonna have some issues. Regardless how good they look, how fine they look. What I'm learning, that I learned the hard way, is that everybody has some issue that you're not gonna like. It's just gonna be, what are you gonna choose in that individual that you're gonna deal with? Now,
Right.
if it comes to the level of disrespect, you know, some I know some women I talk to that I just deal with on a daily basis. They like to sleep a lot. They like being in the bed all day. To me, that's crazy as hell. But that's what they like to do if they off work. So just for little things that irk you, all of us gonna have, each and every individual that we meet, they're gonna have something that we're not gonna like. We just gotta learn to accept what we're gonna deal with. I think that's a lot of times that's what we gotta do, is decide, hey, what we gonna deal with? Is this person match? This person may not be organized, may be late all the time, may can't remember a lot of things. Are you gonna be the person to come in their life to give that person balance, to help that person? He may not, or she may not be the most organized person, but you organize. So are you gonna come in that person's life to make that person better as an individual? Go ahead, Jay.
So the thing is, you should never go into a relationship hoping to change someone. You go into the relationship knowing this is what you want, who you need, and you're going to accept those things that irritate you on sometimes. My girl, I try to be punctual.
Right.
My girl, she doesn't. I don't like that.
Regardless of what you say or do, she just do that.
That's who she is, and I accept who she is.
Right.
So I sit back. Well, I changed the time 30 minutes. You know, but we got to be there at 7:30 when we really got to be there at 8. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
But I accept her for who she is.
Right.
She's a very strong-minded individual that speaks her mind.
Right.
And that
I know that. I know that. Yes.
Right.
I know that. Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know. So
because I had to come to that agreement with myself that I get on somebody's nerves and somebody gonna get on my nerves. My personality is not gonna mash with every woman, but I may be a good match for a woman, and my personality is probably what she needs. Because all of us got something that we have to work on, and the shortcomings we have, our partner really balances us out. And if your partner loves you enough and care about you enough, they're going to cover your shortcomings. Okay, he may forget to do something, but I'm going to remind him or help him. Baby, you forgot this before we walk outside. And it could have been a catastrophe, but she saved it because you're not very good at being organized. Or some people are just wired to be late. Some people, no matter what you say to them, no matter what you do to them, some people are just wired to be late. I'm bringing Brandon on. Some people are just wired to be late. What's up, B? Some people are just wired to be late. And we just got to accept we just got to choose what we're going to accept. What's your thought on that, on that, Black?
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and like
You tell
Jake
me that all the
preached,
time. You tell me that all
like
the
he
time.
preached on several of the podcasts. You're not gonna meet that perfect person.
Right.
And so you can just hang that up. You gotta accept, you gotta take that person for what you can accept with them. And a lot of times women and some guys have a hard time of easing up from their friends, which can hinder their relationship.
Right.
You trying to go here, they want their friend to ride with you to the mall.
Right.
Oh, go pick up this person to ride to the mall. Some of them you just can't shake that friend.
Right.
But if you're trying to be in a relationship until you guys get everything going, I feel like it's okay to take a break from hanging with the friends so much, because that can definitely hinder whatever progress, whatever treaty y'all trying to do, whatever fight you have, that can hinder them hanging with friends and listening to friends. Listen, when you got a friend in your corner while you're trying to do your treaty or your fight for the relationship, and you got that friend in that ear saying, you ain't got to put up with that, you don't need this girl, we could be doing this and that, blah blah, that hinders the relationship. So if that friend don't respect the relationship, it's gonna make your peace treaty, it's gonna make your fight and all that more difficult, because the friend don't want her in that relationship with you. So it's almost like a catch-22 when you in that type of situation.
Right.
If y'all both not on the same accord of us making it work, you know.
Have you either one of y'all, have you known somebody to get caught up in that type of circumstance, dealing with a friend, but they came out of it on the other side? And if so, how was the relationship after that point when they survived it? Have you, any of y'all, experienced that they survived the onslaught of the friends, or the miscommunication of the friend talked this and this, that, and the third, but they got it straight? What happened in the process on the other side of that particular situation? If anybody can shed light on that, or did you understand what I was saying? If anybody can understand what I was saying.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
yeah,
I mean, I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
So I really wouldn't be able to speak on that.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen,
just vicariously is what he's saying.
I've seen people, but especially females, turn down guys who could have possibly changed their lives by listening to a jealous friend.
Right.
Or a friend that may have wanted him themselves, but he didn't pay them no mind. So when they find out the friend girl talking to him, they'll try to down the guy and stop the girl from talking to him. I've seen that happen several times.
Right.
And that's just the high influence. That's something, and like I say, it comes with maturity, but it's the high influence that some of them have on the friends and family. They listen to him. They may look up to this person. And she said, girl, why are you talking to him? He tried to talk to me 2 years ago. He tried to talk to my cousin. He ain't this, he ain't that. And instead of getting to know that person, that friend influenced them to look elsewhere.
Right.
She chose elsewhere and on welfare, where if she would have been with the other guy, would have cleaned the credit up, would have, helped to get an education, finish her education, he got pulled to get jobs, had her working at a high profile job, but she chose to listen to the friend, and that didn't work. And I see that happens all the time.
So is it more often? Go ahead, Jay.
So even on the opposite end of that,
that's what I just about to say.
Her friend presses her. Her friend presses her to get with this guy that appears to have all this money and this that and whatnot, and living this certain way, girl. He driving, a Ferrari or a Porsche, and he has this big house. He used to play football or basketball, but then you get with this person and you find out he's the worst person that there is for you. Number one, again, he has money, so therefore you're always competing with the next woman. So you're living in, you can be living in this mansion, lonely as hell. Yeah, lonely as hell, because he's still never there. You're surrounded by all these things, but the thing that you want most is not there. So you're empty inside, living in a
luxury
bubble, a bubble,
living in a bubble, living in your castle, living however you want to put it, but you're lonely and loathing for what you wanted the most, which was love. Right. And that other person that wasn't a millionaire, but wasn't in the poorhouse either, could have given you some of the same materialistic things that you wanted. They can give you a nice house. They can give you a nice car. You going on trips. You have Louis Prada or whatever else that you want, and you still have these things, but you're whole because that person loves you with everything that they have. And even though there are other people that may be coming for them, they don't feel it. I mean, they turn them down because they have everything that they want in you.
Right. That's powerful. Do you think it's more prevalent in women on the influence or men as far as dealing in friends? Do you think it's more prevalent in women? Because I haven't seen
women are a weaker vessel.
That kind of listen. Yeah.
Women are a weaker vessel, and they're more easier to be influenced than a real man, than an alpha male, a real man. A real man makes up his mind and he don't care. Every now and then, a woman can have her mind set on something, but if she hears something enough times, a lot of times her faith gets a little weak.
Right.
Her stance get a little weak.
Right.
But you just have to have that one that's say what she say and mean what she say.
Right.
Man. Because you're gonna have those friends that's hating. You're gonna have those friends that's gonna try to down what you have to make themselves look and seem like theirs is so much better. You're gonna have that, but you got to be strong enough and into your relationship enough to not let any of that bother you. Right. If you going to Miami and they're going to Dubai, make that Miami your Dubai. Enjoy yourself. Live that moment.
Yeah. Man, I think that's your friends are an extension of yourself. I think that when you really studying somebody, and it seems that it never fails, but when you study what they say, the saying goes, birds of a feather, flock together. You can kind of see the extension of a person through their friends. And do you examine a woman? Do you look at her friends when you're dealing with her as a choice to say, hey, this could be a potential problem? Do you look at who she hang with before you make the ultimate decision on dealing with her, so you won't have this problem of the messiness? Or you never could really see that. You never
not necessarily.
Okay.
Because growing up, I handpicked the people that I pretty much hung with, and just because you. We were talking the other day. The best line that I heard Juvenile say to me, one of the coldest lines, he said, "You don't even," in that song, "Huh?" He said, "You don't even like them people, huh? You grew up with them people, huh? So you stuck with them people, huh?" A lot of times we're stuck with people we grew up with.
Right.
So
right,
just
right.
because they may be thieves, they may be liars, they
Right,
may be
right. You can't
whores, they
judge
may
that. You
be
can't judge that.
they may be you know, whatever. They may be uneducated in school. That don't necessarily mean that that's who you are. So I never judge a person from who they hung around. But if I start seeing some of their ways in that person,
Right.
then and only then do I look at, oh, well, you acting just like Sheila.
Right.
You know,
Right.
then
right.
that saying may become true. But until I get to know that person, just because, just like I'm a DJ, I'm in the clubs all the time. You have club hoppers. Any real DJ that knows the crowd, he can look in that crowd and tell when a woman in there that's not part of the crowd. But
Right.
she's hanging with the biggest hood rats in the city.
Right.
But you can just see that she really don't belong in that crowd.
Right.
And then if you get a chance to talk to her 8 times out of 10, I used to always get, it's her birthday. They wanted us to come. They wanted me to come. I really don't go out. But since she wanted to come here, I came. I got to go to work in the morning. Well, the one who partied is ain't got to go to work in the morning. She getting high, smoking blunts, drinking all night. The other one just sitting there with them, get up every now and then, do a little twerk, sit back down.
Right.
You know, so you can't really say birds of a feather flock together these days because there's so much out there now. You got the FN free, you got the strippers, you got, you know, one stripping to make money and not to just have sex or get attention. They actually paying tuition, paying rent. The guy get too close, touch it, you push him back and do that. I've seen all that. And so and for me to say every stripper is a slut or a whore would be wrong. Because just because she's in the club stripping, that don't make her of the club. So it's just like you have to get to know a person these days. Even when you see that professional woman, you may go to her house and when she take the hair down and shake her bang, she may be ghetto as well. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you really can't just judge a book by its cover. And I'm a firm speaker of that because people don't know my education. A lot of them don't know my educational background. People don't know I play violin. People don't know straight A, Dean List. They don't know none of that about me. All they know is DJ Black from the club. DJ Black, the DJ. They don't know, and then it's not really their business. Keep the DJ mindset and do you. But once you get to know me, they like the wife now, when she on the phone with her friends, oh yeah, girl, he a nerd. Because I know I make it my business to learn as much as I can. Every day I thirst for knowledge. And I'm gonna get on there and I'm gonna study. So you can't, these days you cannot judge a book by its cover. And if you do that, you're gonna miss out a lot. So just because she hang or you see her with a group doesn't mean she's of that group. So get to know her. Now, when you hanging with her or you getting to know her and you see that her ways are matching up with the hood rats, then you drift on and get on out of the way, and slowly the phone calls get fewer and fewer, and then you let her fade off. But yeah, I learned that from being in the club though. I see them with them hood rats, they in their little corner, you know, every blue moon she get up and twerk. But then when they getting the loudest, she's sitting down quiet. So I'm like, okay, she don't belong in it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So don't judge them. These days you really can't do that. You can hit and miss. It's like a 60% you may miss if you judge them by the couple or who they with.
Okay.
So
okay.
Can I comment on that question?
Go ahead, B.
You asked a question about should you pay attention to the friends that they have. My answer is you better pay attention to their friends. You better know who they friends with. Because I hear what you're saying, Black, but I think you're describing personality as opposed to association. An individual, it's like, let's take the A-Team, for example. It used to be one of my favorite TV shows growing up. B.A. Baracus didn't dress like Murdoch. They didn't hang out together. They really wasn't cool. But they worked together because they were friends. They was on the team. But if you put them all together, you say that's the A team. And they all got the same mission. They all getting the same result. They working for the same common cause. But they didn't look alike, dress alike, act alike. They didn't do none of that. But they all played their role in that. See,
right? They were friends by affiliation.
But it's not just affiliation. It's choice. See, here's the thing that we mess up with, right? Personality is one of those words that we really don't understand. It comes from the Latin word persona, which means a mask. And it's the mask we wear to hide the naked truth of ourselves. So we each got our own spouses, right? And if I say, you know, hey man, it's okay if your wife get butt naked in front of me, you're gonna slap the piss out of me. And if she try to do it, gonna slap piss out of her. Why? Because that's not for me. That nakedness, that reality, that's not for me. So the hell of what happened in your house, what y'all arguing about, ain't for me either. See, that's the thing. We invite people into our relationship and we allow them to influence it. You cracking the door, you cracking the window, opening the shades, and you say, well, I want some sunlight. No, what you're doing in that sunlight, there's people on the outside of that window looking in your house. Now, you can determine how much influence they have in your house, or you can just shut their ass all the way out. Because when you marry someone, you get married to them, it's two of y'all up there with the preacher. It's a group of people to the left and to the right, but they're not right here in this point, because we saying that we gonna become one. Hell, even Noah took the animals 2 by 2, not in threesomes, foursomes. You don't. We might say you marrying the family. No, you marrying into the family. I married the woman. I married the man. I didn't marry your family. Now, that if you don't know how to keep your family out of your business, see, you know, that becomes an issue that speaks to your own your own self-value. Who said that they supposed to come along with the ride? They not. Just like growing up, when your mom ain't have to tell you, don't tell your friends that y'all lights got cut off. You already knew not to say that.
Right.
So why is it okay to say that nigga got the lights off again? He ain't paid the bill, girl. When does it become okay then?
Right.
Why? Because it affects the sanctity, the safety, and the existence of the home. That's circumstantial. That's not the reality of the relationship. That's circumstantial. That's just what's happening right now. And JR, you made a comment earlier, and I'm 100% in agreement with you. Going into these relationships trying to change people is a mistake. And I made a comment a while back. This was on social media, but I said that, you know, you better start stop marrying people's potential and marry their current reality, because that's what the hell you're dealing with right now. People don't change that fast. They don't change that fast. And if that's what you're trying to get out of it, man, you're going to be angry, upset, fighting, arguing all the time. Y'all going to have treaties all the damn time because you're trying to change. Change don't come that fast. And if you ain't got the patience of Job and the wisdom of Solomon, boy, you in for a ride of your life.
Right. Man, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to add on to that, Black? Or Jay?
Yeah, you're right. But the only thing that, but like I say, with the friend thing, I say that because I hung with drug dealers. I hung with thieves, breaking in, houses and stuff, cocktailing houses, but I didn't do it. So a lot of the friends I had that I grew up with in the neighborhood, or we went to the same school, same street, and and when they ready to do their dirt, I would leave a lot of the times. I'm like, y'all do that, holler at me tomorrow. Then I see them later on, they tell me what all they did. I'm looking at the news and I see some police beat. They done this and that and that. I wasn't with them, but they my partner. I'm cool with them. So I wasn't necessarily affiliated with them through their criminal acts. I just knew them growing up, and they got influenced by older guys from other sets, and they brought what they learned from that to our hood, and I just didn't participate in a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? So
could you say they were your friends? Like
yeah,
if you could
yeah,
call
they
them
were
right now,
friends because we grew up together.
drop
Yeah.
of a hat. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up
Okay.
with them. They had my back, I had theirs, but a lot of stuff they participated in. You know, I did like Jay and I today.
Yeah.
Like Phantom today.
Yeah.
Stuff that Jay Austin and I did or do, he don't agree with, but that's my friend.
Right.
I may go buy a daiquiri shop while we in New Orleans and get me a Soldier Slim. He's straight on that.
Right.
But that's my friend. So if people see me drinking a Soldier Slim or I'm out in the street busting dance moves and Jay standing beside me, that birds of a feather don't flock together wouldn't apply to him because we joined to the hip. But I do different. I'm different, and he's different.
But see, that's where I'm disagreeing with you, right? I don't think you that much different. I like Louisiana hot sauce. You might like Tabasco. Hell, we both want some heat on our food. We ain't different, but you like it what you like. If you going somewhere and you get something to drink, got alcohol, he thirsty too. Yeah, but he getting a root beer. It don't mean that you're not flocking together. Y'all friends. It's going to be that, but you share more than just activity. You share
Right.
a certain heart.
But I'm saying if I go, I see a fine lady and I go get a hotel and invite her up there, and I'm doing my one night stand. He's not gonna do that.
No, I got you.
Right. I would do that. He gonna be like, man, you crazy. I'll be in the room, bro. You silly. He gonna walk back to the room, and then I'm gonna come back 2 hours later. Man. I ain't gonna say, man, you crazy.
But what I'm saying is, what makes you friends is not just your activity; it's your heart, it's your mind. We all got friends we grew up with. I got some I grew up with, man, that ain't never in adult life spent the night in my house or been in my house with my family.
Right.
They still my friends. We still talk. We still stay in touch. But I also understand that they got certain activity that I'm not going to approve of in my home or my family. But I also know that, man, let somebody be bothering my children. I call them, hey, man, so-and-so, man, they always messing with your niece. Hell, they there before I hang up the phone. Because we got that kind of heart, that kind of spirit. That's what makes them my friends. We ain't going to agree on everything. That's why you end up with different women. It's like, man, you don't like her? I don't like her. I just think when it comes to the friend, that it's like anything else. Once you get into marriage, there's things that have to be prioritized, right? I met my one of my daughters. She got a boyfriend now. I met him for the first time, this past weekend, and we had a very long conversation. But I did most of the talking. I didn't want to hear from him. I wanted him to hear from me so he could understand what he was involved in.
Right.
I ain't too much worried about what the hell he do and all that. That comes later. But I needed him to understand. He know what he doing, and he knows if it's gonna fit in this family. He knows that I'm the patriarch of my family. And he knows if he's doing something that ain't gonna fit, it ain't gonna be no good mate for him. That ain't gonna be no good matchup. So I did most of the talking. But one of the things that I did explain to them, him and my daughter, was that the reason we go as men, we go to the Father and we ask for his blessing. We're not asking so much for his permission. You really more asking for his blessing because you're grown, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. But you ask for his blessing to marry his daughter. But what we really don't understand is what we asking for is, may I have the responsibility and the authority over her that you once had? I'm asking your blessing for that. Will you support me in that? And he either says yes or no. Well, oftentimes we forget that the fiance, the woman, she don't go to the mother. but she should. Because everything that your mother means to you is what she needs to understand that she needs to mean to you.
Right.
But the point I'm making is that once that is done, and the two of you, mom and daddy, don't get to influence this marriage. They already did their part. We shouldn't even be calling them after the argument. We shouldn't be doing it. If I can't call my mom and my daddy after I argue with my wife, then I damn so shouldn't call my home. They don't belong in there. They don't have a place in there. If we gotta move, hey dog, I need you to come help me move. That's his place. We having a barbecue for the birthday. Hey, I need you on the grill, homie. That's his place. But in the marriage, in the relationship, and the friends, they don't have a place other than what we give them, and that's including siblings. Our siblings should even have the influence in our marriage because they got their own problems. And when you really look at it, if you look at, hey man, what did you produce out of your relationships? Well, you know me, I'm single and I'm loving it. Well, I'm getting married because I love this woman, so I don't want your advice. Because you love being single. I hate it. I don't ever want to be single. Like that. Like, man, I told people before, like, man, they talking about, oh man, you and your wife ain't together, man. You should just stay single. You a fool. Because the same people that say they don't like being single, go tell somebody else to stay single. You can't advise me. That's why. So I can't let you in. I can't let certain people in, and that's just my point of view. I think too many of us, too many times have let.
So even if you grew up with them, if they don't see eye to eye like that, you pretty much shut them out.
You saying the friends?
Yeah.
No, it's not even shutting them out. They not invited. That's all I'm saying. See, I give them their place in my life once I get married. Bro, you can't come over and hang out at my bachelor pad like you used to right now. Me and the wife just bought a house. You don't get to do that no more. You don't get my time no more. She didn't marry you. She married me. She don't even like you. Be honest. And if we can be real, if we've been married, we got wives that don't like our friends, and vice versa. Hell, they got some I don't like. But it's important because socially, can you all be in the same social circle? That's an important aspect of relationship.
Right. See, and I'm gonna say this, not to cut you off, B. Even I'm learning from you all because you all are married or been in relationships, and that's I'm really learning just an aspect of what it takes to be in a relationship and learning about being social. When I've struggled with that, just a result of me going on my trip by myself is really these podcasts and hanging with Black and Brandon and Jay talking to y'all and just being around y'all really gave me the confidence really just to step out on my own and just do something that I wanted to do and do it by myself. Because to be really sociable, you really got to have the confidence really to stand out in social situations. So to have a good social situation that help forges relationships to help forge you to be married. So really what I've done.
So you're an experienced camper now. You've been out there in the mountains.
Man, it was off the chain, man. And I felt bad because this is something that Black was telling me for years to do, just to get out and go do something, man. Get out the house, get out your room. Because my room was my prison. My mind, my head was my prison. And when I got out and I seen that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, that gave me a different perspective in life, really just to be sociable and put myself in availability. Because what I see amongst, and it's common amongst us in relationships, that I seen that's in all three of y'all, you make yourself available. You'll tell a woman what's up. That's something that I have to learn to build my confidence and to go out and just do different things to be among different people. And just learning this, man, is what you know, you get gems from it, you know, because learning social situations and learning about people, man, really you understand how relationships really would go.
Right. And
Yeah.
the thing
Go ahead, Jay.
is, the thing is also, I'm gonna just speak on that, and then I'm gonna speak on one other thing.
Yeah.
You have to learn to accept that you're not everyone's cup of tea, and everyone's
Right.
not yours. So everyone that you come across may not like you, and you may not like them. But you've got out there and you've experienced what you like and what you don't like.
Right.
So then you have an ideal what you're looking for in a friend or in a mate.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the single friends, dealing with you in a marriage. So you have to set boundaries. Boundaries are important for your relationships. You even have to set boundaries for yourself. A boundary for yourself is you know that you will not do well in a room full of attractive women. So your boundary is you don't go in there. You don't put yourself in a situation to fail. Right. So when you're with your friends, you don't put them in a situation to fail you. So you don't allow them into your intimate relationship with your spouse or your committed person. That and like Brandon said, that includes family. All of those are outside of your boundary when it comes to your relationship with your spouse or your committed other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's heavy. Anybody want to add on to that?
It even goes as far as, you know, the boundaries are set for, like, when you borrow money. I got 3 sisters. They got jobs. If I need some money and I say, oh, man, I need to borrow some money, and true, I need to be going to my brother-in-law as a man. Brother-in-law, man, listen, I'm short. If I'm going to put somebody in my business, you know, but we tend to put too many people in our business. And I'll say for myself, with my children, raising my children, growing up when they were, you know, young, 8, 9, 10 years old, I had family was telling me that, man, some of the exact things they said to me, your kids gonna hate you when they get grown. Man, y'all mean you don't let them do nothing. You watch when they get grown, they just gonna bust out and you ain't gonna have no control of them. This is what my own family said to me. And now my children are adults and they're saying that, man, you got the best children in the family. You got the best children in the family. I had to take my children away from my family. And not allow them to have access to my family. And when I gave them access was, you know, go over there. When you gonna let them spend the night? I'm not. They can come over, we come over there, but they coming home. And one of my daughters, I told her, I said, mark my words. We got a family member. I said, as soon as you get around this particular family member, and they know you were raised not to drink, not to smoke, to have those vices. They know that. The first thing they're going to do is offer you a drink. My daughter called me so upset because this particular family member she hadn't seen in several years. First thing, you want something to drink? I know your daddy not here. You want something to drink? And I said, I told you. See, that's the value of keeping people out that don't belong. They have a place, but it ain't everywhere. They ain't supposed to be everywhere.
Right. Man, that's powerful. As we gonna get ready to land this plane, man. We really, this is a discussion that can go on all night, but we do have some time limits and constraints. Anybody want to make some last minute remarks as we close out? Black, we're gonna start with you, and we're gonna go around and just see how it feels. Black, do you want to add something else to the discussion?
The friend thing, I just say if they respect your relationship, cool. But even with that, too much of anything is a problem. So you know what's going on in your house, your relationship. So I would just say use your best judgment on that. But if you're with somebody that's easily influenced and it's causing a problem with different people they're hanging with, that's a whole nother situation altogether. So people say trust, people say if you love, people say trust. Is all that and then some. Because just because you trust somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean they're trustworthy. You just got to know your mate and your situation. So that's my deal on the friendship thing. It varies. How long you've been together, how your relationship going. If it's a rough patch in it, and he or she got negative friends, they don't need to be around them. You know, it's your best judgment on that. But that's
Right.
like I said, that's up to the individual. And like Jay say, Austin say, you got to know your limits. You know, if you know you can't be around a lot of handsome men that's 6'2", don't go. If I know
Right.
I can't be around beautiful women. You know, if I know that's a weakness, I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. So you got to know your limits and restraints, like Austin said.
Powerful. Jay, you got any closing remarks?
Well, all I have to say is, you know who you're with, and you should know who their friends are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't feel like you can trust them when they by themselves, you damn sure can't trust them when they with their friends.
Come on.
So know who you with, understand who you with, and accept the consequences of what happens with being who you with.
Right. Brandon, any last remarks?
Oh, man, thank y'all for letting me come on. Keep it up. We got to figure out how to blow this up. And I love y'all format, and I love your content, y'all energy. And thank you for letting me get on run my mouth.
Appreciate it. You know, this we're gonna I'm gonna give it all props to Black. This is vision. And as a friend, I wanted to help support his vision. Anything that I try, what I'm learning to be, I want to add value to anybody that's a friend of mine. I want to come to the situation adding value. So whatever I can do to help my friend is what I'm gonna do. And this is vision. This is something that he wanted to do on the Speak On It podcast. And anything that I can do to help him, you know, I want to do it. He got on me yesterday because I was at the Grand Canyon, and we got caught up. So we doing this special night on Thursday. But I just want to, you know, thank a lot for, you know, for Black for the vision, and we gonna keep supporting him and doing the thing, man. So you know, I appreciate him on, you know, setting everything up.
Hey, you missed another one. You missed another one, Black. You have to have a coaching conversation with him, like they do in corporate America. You got to document a coaching conversation with him.
Hey, we can go back and forth. I'm always ready for a debate.
So we do that all the time. You know, the podcast really was born out of me and him having conversations, just having averages conversation. And he said, Jay, man, I want to do this, man. I want to do a podcast because what we be talking about be some real stuff. So, you know, we getting good feedback from the people, man, and we just going to keep doing what we doing and just keep pressing forward with it, man, and getting it done. Man, we want to thank everybody for coming out on this special night. I want to thank Brandon. I want to thank Jay. I want to thank DJ Black for coming out tonight, man. And we're going to be back to our regularly scheduled program 7:30 on Wednesdays. And we're going to keep it moving, man. And we're going to speak on whatever we need to speak on in these topics. Man, there is some good content, and we're gonna keep moving forward. And if you have anything, suggestions that you feel we need to talk about, you can move forward with us. and let us know, and we'll speak on it. Black, take us out.
Like I say, if it's happening out there, we might as well speak on it.
Peace.
We out.
We out.